Welcome back to From the Trenches, Success Shortcuts Revealed by Real-World Innovators Crushing It Right Now. I'm your host, Scott Hartley, and we're back with another episode packed with actionable strategies from today's most successful entrepreneurs. If you're tired of generic business advice and ready for real, cutting-edge tactics that are working right now, you're in the right place. Today, we're diving deep into the secrets of frictionless lead generation. And I can't wait for my guest to share with you the transformational insights that she has discovered. Speaking of which, let me introduce you to Misty Kortes. She is a seasoned entrepreneur, sought-after speaker, and the author of Becoming Extraordinary. As a marketing coach and founder of the Extraordinary Entrepreneur Community, she helps entrepreneurs build businesses that offer freedom, flexibility, and control while making a meaningful impact on the world. Over the past decade, she's guided nearly 5,000 entrepreneurs to capture 25 million leads, generate hundreds of millions in sales, and streamline their businesses to focus on what truly matters. Misty, I'm so glad to have you on today.
Thank you for having me, Scott. I'm excited to be here.
Yes. So Misty and I, we've known each other for quite a long time. We've been in the Keep community. Both of us are Keep certified partners, and we've worked together on several projects and things in the past. And Misty's been doing some great things. So she's finally got her book out, which I definitely recommend that you go pick a copy of, because I believe everybody should be writing a book. And I'm so glad that you got yours out into the world. Definitely great content there. But you're here to talk about lead generation. And I know that this is something that like every business owner, they're clamoring for, like, oh, I got to have more leads. I need more leads. But how do I actually get them? And you figured out a process that makes getting leads pretty easy.
Yes, I think so. Here's the thing, lead generation's been around since, business has been around
Right?
forever, right? This isn't anything new, but I think what we're seeing right now is that there is a shift happening in the industry. And I say the industry, I'm talking about the marketing industry, and I consider all businesses marketers, by the way. It's not just marketing agencies like mine, right?
Yeah.
And what we're seeing is that, the cost of acquiring a lead has gone up. The effort to get a lead is requiring more from us. And so I think there's a few reasons why that's happening. Should I go into those?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Let's figure out what's going on in the world today. So
Yeah, I think it's happening, and yet not a lot of people are talking about it because I don't think they really know what changes need to take place. Because the old way of capturing leads, it used to be, create a lead magnet, throw up a landing page and start driving traffic. And that was, that's what it took to capture leads. And I'm not saying that that doesn't work anymore. What I'm saying is we're not getting the same results. So, our benchmark as an agency, when we would run traffic to a landing page or a free offer, we wanted to see a minimum of 20%. So to opt in, right? So that means for every 100 people that would go to a landing page, we wanted to see 20 people signing up. That was our benchmark, right?
Yeah.
And so we're seeing a decrease on that, though. And I think the reason why, there's a few reasons. Well, there's a lot of reasons, but I'm going to just give 5.
Okay.
Kind of hone it in on the top 5 that I think are the culprits that are affecting it.
Yeah.
So number 1, we're an information overload. Like, I don't need to explain that. I think it's pretty self-explanatory, right? There's, especially with the age of AI and individuals being able to produce content at scale now, that is not going to go away. It's going to get increasingly worse.
Right.
But that leads me to the second thing, is that there's more competition, right? There's more people that are actually creating content. And even if it is AI generated, it's still valuable content, right? So that's happening. The other thing that's happening, that's put the skepticism radar on high alert. So now people are more skeptical than ever, right? Because they wonder if the information that they're getting from AI tools or from individuals who may not even be using the tools, is it real? Is it authentic? Is it actually what I need?
Right.
So that skepticism's taking place.
Yeah.
We got the evolving algorithms. Right? So every platform decides how it's going to show our content. I think, I don't know if a lot of people realize this, but, during COVID, when TikTok really kind of took off, people started consuming video more and more. But
Hmm.
and that was a great thing. Like it gave us a lot, an opportunity to be able to connect with our audiences in a meaningful way. I mean, video's always been around, but the
Hmm.
way that TikTok was prioritizing these videos. But here's really what changed, and I think this is like something that a lot of people don't realize. TikTok changed the way that content was being shared with people outside your community. So what I
Hmm.
mean by that, so you think about Facebook, right? Facebook would for many years would only share content to people who were following you that you were friends with.
Hmm.
But TikTok would show it to everybody. And
Okay.
so a lot of marketers were like moving over to TikTok because they're like, I can post a video and within 20 minutes, 30 minutes, I can have 1,000 people viewing my content and I don't even have any followers.
Nice.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I talk about evolving algorithms, that's the
Yeah.
kind of stuff I'm talking about. There's pros and cons to it. So I think sometimes when you hear evolving algorithms, we all go, oh, yeah, the algorithm hates me. The algorithm does not hate you. It does not have an opinion, actually.
Right.
But they are evolving, and we need to stay on top of those changes that are happening so that we can
Hmm.
optimize our efforts. And that's just one small example of what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And so we're seeing other platforms like Instagram and Facebook to actually has to adapt it to that kind of an algorithm
Hmm.
because they're going to lose their users if people can get more reach by posting a video without having all those to have to chase all those followers. They're just
Yeah.
going to that platform, right?
Yep.
So that kind of stuff's happening. And then the last thing, and all of these kind of intertwine with what I want to chat about today, is there's high expectations too. I think we've all been burned where we've been sold something that was going to be really good and it was free. We were excited about it and we give them our name and email, which is, the online currency of today.
Hmm.
And then we get the resource and it just kind of falls flat. It's not what we expected. It definitely didn't solve the problem it claimed to solve. So there's
Yeah.
high expectations now. If I'm going to give you my name and email, I want to know that I can trust that you're going to deliver what you said you were going to
Hmm.
do.
Yep.
Okay. So that's all the reasons that well, not all the reasons, but the highlights of the reasons why I think we're seeing a decrease in lead generation.
Yeah. And, I like the fact, that you said that we are an information overload. I mean, I have a Google Drive that I'm sure has thousands of lead magnets that I've downloaded over the years. I don't know what's in there, and I probably haven't even read, like a fourth of them at all, And so, and I think part of that is the drawback is that everything is now digital as well.
Mhm.
It used to be when you requested something, you signed up for a course or, training or something, it actually got delivered to you, in the mail.
Yep.
You actually had a big box that, was there. And now everybody's gone the easy route. And so everything is all digitized and it's easy for us to request something. We might consume it, we might not. And then we file it away and then we may not come back to it. So, and again, all that kind of contributes to that information overload because if we're honest, we all kind of have a little bit of that shiny object syndrome, right?
Sure.
We're trying to solve all these needs in our business and we're like, oh, we see this ad. Oh, yeah, I want to get that. Oh, yeah, I need that. And it just becomes overwhelming.
Absolutely. I am a self-professed content hoarder for sure.
Me too.
Right? And we download a bunch of stuff but with every intention that we're going to consume it, that we're going to take action on it, and then we don't. And so, that's another thing that plays a role in, if we really want to help our communities with
Hmm.
the content that we're sharing with them, we need to have a great follow-up system that ensures that they actually consume the content.
Yeah.
And so that's an important factor too, for
Yeah.
sure.
So tell us, so we figured out like here's the top 5 problems, with lead gen today and why things are, not working as well as they used to. So what's the answer? What's the solution to that?
So I've honed it into just 3 changes we need to make. So
Okay.
it's not like we have a laundry list of things we need to do. We don't need to totally revamp everything, but there are 3 key changes that I think will positively, and I've seen it, positively affect your lead generation efforts. So number one is that we need to level up our free offers. And what I mean by that is, gone are the days of the checklists and the ebooks. And I'm saying that, I'm not saying that they don't convert, because they still can convert, but we need to leverage those kinds of tools a little bit differently. And I'll explain as we go along.
Okay.
But I have this graphic I created. It kind of looks really complicated, but it's not. In a nutshell, basically what it is it's the evolution of a lead magnet. Okay. So you and I have been in the marketing world for a while, right?
Yeah.
So we've seen this evolution, whether consciously or unconsciously, we've seen this. So when lead magnets first became mainstream and every business kind of caught on to the idea and the concept of it, I can throw together a checklist and I can give that away and collect names, right? And consumers or our prospects, they've never really seen that. They've seen it from a handful of companies, but not like the masses weren't all doing it, right? And then all of a sudden everybody was doing it. So here's what the evolution kind of looked like. Number one, we started off with the checklist. Super simple, easy to throw together, right?
Yep.
And as more and more people were offering checklists, we had to kind of level up our game, go to level 2, if you will, right? And so we started writing ebooks, because ebooks were the new wave. If we can give them more information, then we're more likely to get more leads. And the challenge with ebooks is that nobody reads. Right. I mean, it's just the fact, right? Yeah. I think I read a stat. I don't remember when it was, but the average person reads one book after high school.
Yeah, I saw a similar study, and I was like, "Are you kidding me? Like, people don't read after high school?"
Right. I will tell you, with the launch of my book, I had several people reach out and says, "Misty, I haven't read a book since high school." Literally,
oh wow,
that's what reminded me of it. And they're like, "But I will read your book," and they did. So
awesome.
That was really sweet. Yeah. But yeah, the average person just doesn't read. I think that I take that for granted, because I'm a book fanatic. I listen to them audibly. I read that, and then if I like them audibly, I usually buy the physical book so I can highlight and detail, all the pages. Yeah. But the average person just doesn't read. So the ebook, while it had good intentions that it was going to deliver more value and context around the subject that we were trying to deliver on, and it worked for a while, people did buy into it, but now they just know that's where that content hoarding comes. Yep. We all have thousands of ebooks we've never read, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And then the next stage, level 3 in the evolution of a lead magnet, is that's what born the challenges. We're going to host a challenge, right? And people would have those, whether it could be even in person. Some people were doing challenges in person. Some were doing them in private Facebook groups or in private communities. But the challenge allowed us to be able to, again, deliver more value, dive deeper into our prospects' needs and desires, and be able to help kind of move the needle for them a little bit further. And it held them a little bit more accountable too. Yeah. Right? Because, when you just deliver an ebook or a checklist, it's like, hopefully they consume it, but you have no control over that. But with a challenge, you have a little bit more, control over them actually being a participant.
You can see that interaction, especially if you're doing it in a Facebook group. You're giving those homework assignments at the end of each day, and the instruction is go post your homework into the Facebook group, and you can see, who's participating.
Exactly. So challenges are still a viable option, and we are seeing those still happening today. But again, just like every other lead magnet, when people catch wind of what's converting, they kind of like gravitate to that. And now we have everybody offering challenges. Yep. Right? And that requires time and effort from that individual.
That's a whole lot. And even for the person putting that together, challenges require a lot of work to put that together as the company, right? You can come up with an ebook pretty easily based upon your content, but to structure a challenge, that requires a significant time investment of you before you can really put it out into the world.
For sure. And it's a lot harder to scale depending on how you deliver it.
Yeah.
Right. Because if you want to scale your lead generation where you can be on vacation and capturing leads, or you can be sleeping, well, if you got to deliver it live real time, that kind of puts the kibosh to the scaling part of it. Right. So, but it is still, again, I'm not saying those are not effective models. I'm
Yeah.
just saying things have changed. So we need to make some minor adjustments that can make a huge impact.
Mhm.
And then, so now we're going to level up to level 4. Now we're seeing the evolution of tools, right?
Mhm.
Especially with AI. This is kind of an exciting time right now because for those of us, I'll raise my hand, non-coders, right?
Right.
Non-developers.
Yeah.
We now have an opportunity where we can leverage AI tools to actually create tools, customized tools for our prospects and in a way that we could never do before unless you had that skill set,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So I know that, like, I'll give you an example of this is FormWise. I don't know if you've heard of this, but it's a really phenomenal tool. It allows you, it basically, this is okay for all you programmers or developers or coders. Like, I do not have a clue what I'm talking about. All I know is how to leverage the tool. So how I would describe it is it's kind of like an overlay over top of ChatGPT, right?
Okay.
Which I call G, by the way, because I can't say those letters in a row very fast without spitting. So G, right? So it's an overlay over G where you can actually create prompts behind the scenes that the user does not see.
Hmm.
Yeah, so and it'll generate results by the user just putting in some very generic information or answering questions that you've queued them up. So they don't have to create their own G prompts.
Oh,
They're just
interesting.
answering the questions and then it creates an output.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
blows my mind the things that we can do. So when we're talking about tools, there's some really cool things that we can do nowadays.
Yeah.
And we're talking like, so a lot of these tools are definitely under $100 a month. I'm going to go at the high end at $100 a month, but
Mhm.
somewhere $20, $30 range, like crazy town. So
Yeah.
those are things that we can do to level up our lead magnets, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go to level 5, and maybe it'll go past level 5, but right now I think we're hovering somewhere between level 3 and level 5, or level 5,
Mhm.
which is the assessment. So when I talk about assessments, if you want to scale it, oftentimes I talk about quizzes
Mhm.
or surveys, a way for you to ask a series of questions that lead to a customized outcome.
Mhm.
And that is way more valuable than the checklist or ebook ever could, because the
Yeah.
checklist or the ebook is more of a generic blanket, like it's a blanket solution rather than a customized solution that an assessment can provide. Because I think when I use the word assessment, and maybe I need to find a better word for that, but a lot of people, and it's probably because I work with coaches and consultants a lot,
Mhm.
when they think of assessment, they think, oh, I have to personally deliver the assessment. And that's
Right.
not true. That is a way that you could, but
Mhm.
you can also scale assessments where you're providing that personalization, but not having to do it personally one-on-one.
Yeah.
So
And
I'll give
people
some more examples.
and people love the quizzes, the assessment type of things. I've talked about this in the past, but I mean, if you go on Facebook, how many posts that people have shared that they're this type of tree or they're this type of whatever that it is. People love those interactive type of quizzes because it is and a lot of those probably aren't really personalized like you can get in the true sense of what you're talking about, but people love to find out, to discover whatever it is that they're taking that for. And if they have a true problem or need and you've built an assessment or a quiz around that, and people can get a real discovery, it's
Yep.
like, whoa, the light bulbs come on. It's like, holy cow, this person can really help me.
Yes, I think that the evolution of the assessments, because there's an evolution within
Oh,
evolution.
yeah.
Yeah, it started off like, what kind of princess are you? At least that's what I was seeing in my news feed. But
Uh-huh.
and then all of a sudden you started seeing like the health and fitness industry.
Mm-hmm.
They were using assessments too to choose which type of diet is best suited for your body type,
Yeah.
right? And that was just, those kinds of assessments took customization to a whole new level, and people love that.
Mm-hmm.
So and again, these are just ways that we can learn to level up our actual lead magnet,
Yeah.
but in a combination. So here's what I'm saying about the 3 key changes that we need to make.
Mm-hmm.
You don't just level up your lead magnet. You actually have to do all 3 changes.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's kind of like a recipe for baking a cake, right? Which
Right.
I don't bake. So if my mother-in-law was listening to this, I'm not claiming I'm a baker because I don't. She does all the baking when she comes and visits. But you got to have all three changes in order for you to optimize your lead gen.
Hmm.
Okay. So that's the evolution of a lead magnet. So we need to level up our free offers.
Okay.
And then the next thing that I would say is that, and this is where I talk about we need to make our lead generation process frictionless. So what do I mean by that, right? So I kind of created my own definition of this, and it's the best definition I have so far because I'm still trying to get my head around how this kind of looks for us, because I think there's probably even more opportunity than I'm exploring up to this point, but these are this is what I'm focused on right now.
Okay.
Frictionless lead generation is attracting, engaging, and converting potential customers, aka prospects, into leads without unnecessary barriers or resistance. That's the foundation of it, right?
Hmm.
But it prioritizes delivering upfront value, offering solutions that solve specific problems, like we just talked about,
Hmm.
before asking for the opt-in. So I'm suggesting that we deliver the value first and then ask for it, which is completely like the reverse. And I'll give you some real examples of what I mean by this in a minute.
Hmm.
And a true frictionless system enhances the value of the lead magnet, meets the prospects where they're at on their preferred platforms, and makes the sign-up process simple and essentially effortless. Okay, so that's my full definition of what it means to be a frictionless lead gen system.
Okay. I'm interested to hear how this actually works.
Okay, so that's the formal, right? So let's break down, let's meeting them where they're at, because this is a big one.
Yeah.
So it's frictionless because if I'm on Facebook or Instagram, wherever I am browsing, wherever you're meeting me,
Hmm.
it creates a barrier to ask me to leave what I'm doing to go somewhere else to do something else that I had no intention on doing, right?
Yep.
So to make it frictionless, one of the things that we can do, one of the strategies we can do is we can leverage conversational marketing. And this is where chatbots, I call it the social chatbot, right? The social bot. Because you're seeing some marketers doing this where they'll say, hey, I just launched a new podcast. If you want me to send that episode directly to your inbox, right? Because see, the old way of doing this would be, hey, I dropped a new episode, and then it would require them to have to leave that platform to go get it. So
Yep.
go to iTunes, go to my website, wherever I have it hosted. So I have to go listen to it, right? And now it's just moved me somewhere else. No. We want to keep them where they're at, have the chat bot look for the engagement on that social post, and then drop that episode right in their messenger, right in that platform that they're on.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's one way to do it. Another way that you can do it, obviously you can leverage even live chats, right? So the key is that you don't want to ask them to leave unless you have to.
Yeah.
So I'm going to bring up Facebook lead ads, which have been around, which seems like forever, but I don't even know. Maybe it's been 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know how long it's been, to be honest, but they've been around for a while.
Yeah.
But lead ads are a phenomenal way to capture leads because if you are meeting that person on Facebook, right? They're browsing on Facebook, they see your ad, you can actually deliver value first. So if you're staying true to what my definition is, you can deliver value first, like a short video, right? That delivers value, that opens their mind up to what you are going to introduce them to. And then when they opt in, all they have to do, it's a click of the button. They don't have to leave the platform. Facebook's going to auto merge in their information right into the form fields. And you've just captured a lead in like basically 2 clicks.
Yeah. And the best part about that is you are actually getting their best information because they don't have to fill out anything. They're already using that to log into Facebook. So, it's a good email address and, it's their name because, Facebook's giving that to you and they're not altering that.
Absolutely. This is how good it is. I was running a Facebook lead ad to an event that I was hosting, and I had a couple marketers who clicked on my ad because you know how we are.
Right. We're checking out
Right? We're
everybody
always
else's stuff.
spying. Yeah, we're always spying on each other's stuff. They didn't know they even opted in. That's how good it is. Like
Nice.
they're marketers. Like they didn't realize they went all the way through the process and actually opted in. And they're like, "Hey, how come I'm getting your emails all of a sudden?" I'm like, "Because they signed up with my lead ad." Right?
Interesting.
So that's how good it is and
Yeah.
people don't even realize, and it's because it's just so simple. And those are examples of meeting them where they're at.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to point out is in the frictionless system is that you want to deliver value first, because this is a huge component of it. This is where you're going to build trust. You're going to be able to share with them your experience, your expertise, your knowledge, so that you can show them like this right now is not AI generated. This is Misty, real, live, human. And so you can deliver value first. So a couple examples of this. Well, I talked about the quiz. I want to bring that back up just real quick because I recently redid my quizzes, because my quizzes in the past used to be take the quiz, and if you want the results, give me your name. And I'm like, but it's not converting like it used to.
Yeah.
So now I'm doing something a little bit differently. So now I'm like, take the quiz, no, and I put right on the button, no opt-in required. Right on the opt-in button. So that's another little conversion pro tip. And then, so they get the results without having to opt in. So I'm delivering the result pages. So you might be thinking, well, why go through all the work of setting up a quiz? Because it is a little bit of work, right? Well, here's the thing, is because I can dive deeper into the results. After I deliver the results, I can take them to the next most logical step that they should take now that they got the results.
Yeah.
So that could be a personalized action plan. It could be a strategy guide. It could be a training video you put together. For me, I'm inviting them into my community where they're going to get access to a free mini course that gets them kickstarted in the direction based on my quiz. So mine is about helping people leave their 9-to-5 job and start an online business. And so we have multiple tracks. So depending on if coaching is best for them, or maybe freelance services are best for them, then I provide a customized mini course that they can take within my community. So that's my next most logical step. Well, to get in my community, I have to have your email to deliver the logins.
Yeah.
It's just logical.
If you provided such value in the free stuff, people are going to be like, what does Misty have that she hasn't given to me yet? And so they're going to be more inclined to say, you know what, I want to find out more. I want to see more of what she has to offer.
Exactly. And so, when we talked about, the challenges, the increased skepticism, this removes that, or should. If you've done a good job, it should, right? So I wanted to bring that up. But another example of delivering value first is this. Rather than in the old days, we used to create videos and trainings, right? Well, now I'm recommending that you deliver the video. Let them watch the video, and a couple of things that you can do. So like Vimeo has this. I have all my videos on Vimeo. I've literally thousands of videos. You can actually go in and just set up an opt-in form right on the video that you already have uploaded to Vimeo.
Oh, interesting.
So you can allow them to watch 5, 10, 15 minutes of the video. And then once you get them hooked and they're like, wow, this is really good, then you have a pop-up that says, hey, Scott, would you like to continue watching this? Give me your email and I'll give you this. And maybe you even throw in a guide or a checklist. This is where you can use your ebooks and your guides and your checklist as a content upgrade. It's an extension of the value you're already delivering.
Yeah.
So if you were worried, I'm going to have to throw out all my checklists and all these valuable resources I've created over the years. No, you don't. You're just going to leverage them in a different way.
And the key part that you mentioned there, about that video is in that 5, 10, 15 minutes that you're giving to them for free, you've got to make sure that you're really delivering something that they want, so that they will be inclined to give you their email address and that they want more. Unfortunately, there's going to be some shysters out there that they're going to, create these videos and it's like, oh, here's a little snippet, but it doesn't give you anything. to really, get you to go further down the list. And it's going to kind of burn that strategy. But if you're the one that's adopting this and you're like really providing that value, or as Frank Kern calls it, results in advance, then you're going to be inclined of, okay, yes, I want more. So I'm willing to give you my email address, my phone number, so you can text me, whatever that case may be.
Well, and we're seeing it, right? And this, again, this is not a strategy that hasn't been around. It has, because, as podcasters, right? What do we do first? We deliver an entire episode of value. And then sometimes within the course of that episode, you might say to them, hey, I'd like to deep dive into this subject a little bit more, but I don't want to derail our conversation for today. So I've got a free resource for you. I call those content upgrades, right? It's an upgrade to our conversation that says, hey, and I really don't want to derail our conversation, because Lord knows I can do that really well.
I think we all can.
Right? The ADD mind is all over the place sometimes. But so I can give them that content upgrade. And so we've been doing this for a long time. We do it on blogs. When you write a blog, and then on the blog, you'll have a content upgrade on your blog, right? So we've been doing it, but I'm kind of trying to introduce this concept in a different way, right? Like through the quiz, because I see it all the time where they're like, give me your name and email and I'll give you the results. And I'm like, hey, I thought I was going to get the results. You know what I mean? I thought I was going to get the results. I feel kind of deceived.
Yeah,
so
it's kind of like, I was looking up for our CEO program, the other day. There are CEO students, they're high school juniors and seniors that are learning about entrepreneurship. And for one of the class businesses that are wanting to do, they're needing some insurance, event insurance for a one-day type of thing. Well, there's a bunch of online companies and they offer these, free quotes. Only until you go all the way through the process. And then the last page is, if you want to find out how much this is going to cost you, you got to plug in your email address. And it's like, no, I want a free quote. I just want the number. So it's so disheartening. And so like the way that you're doing that actually builds trust, because you're putting in, like, take this quiz, no opt-in required, which means I'm going to be able to see the results at the end of this. And you're not going to know that I took that quiz, but that the results that I get from it, like, I'm going to be inclined to give you my information, because you're going to dangle something else out there that's really enticing for me, because I've gotten so much benefit from what you've already offered.
And I think it fosters goodwill as well. Like, we talk about the trust, and maybe goodwill and trust are kind of like, hand in hand. But I think that it's going to help our conversions, which ultimately is really what we want. I mean, nobody really wants leads. We just want sales, right? If we could dump the lead part and get right to the sales, we'd all be happy. But
exactly.
I think that by delivering the value first, that's when you're going to really build a loyal following that really, you have built that trust. And it fostered goodwill. So they are more likely to convert in the future. The folks who do what you just explained, who are like, oh, you're going to get a free quote. It's very misleading, because it is misleading, but it's not, because you and I both know as marketers, it is still free.
Yeah.
But I would also dare to say people view their emails as currency now. So is it free? I don't know. I don't know.
Right. And something that you and I are very familiar with, there's the thing called inbox fatigue. People don't want to receive more emails for things that they really aren't that interested. I just want a number, I want to know what this insurance is going to cost for the day. I don't want to be on your mailing list forever, or I know I can unsubscribe, but I don't want to have to take the energy to click the unsubscribe button. Just give me what I want. But if I'm really interested in something, like, sign me up, I'll read your emails, all day long,
Absolutely. And a lot of those companies, probably letting the cat out of the bag and gonna make a few people angry, but you and I know they're harvesting leads for other companies. So they'll use tools like that. Not because they have an intention of following up with you, they're selling your name off to someone else. And so if you've ever done a free tool, to find out later you're getting all these emails about insurances, and you're like, you know what I mean? That they harvested your lead off. And I'm not saying it's unethical as long as they're forward about what they're doing, but a lot of people aren't. So that's happening too. But I'm talking to the ones who want to build a loyal following, an engaged group, a community of people. I'm talking to those folks. We want to do the right thing, and we want to foster a relationship that lasts for years.
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So one last thing before I go to the next point on the deliver value first. Another thing that I've done recently, I have this, I call it a freedom tracker. And it's basically a spreadsheet that I created, super, super, super simple. And all it is I actually break down, because again, I'm working with business owners who are leaving their 9 to 5, who want to start their own business, and they don't know how to manage their time. On their job, they knew how to, but now they're an entrepreneur and they're like, I need to run errands at noon. I'm like, no, no, we need to work just like you were on a job until it pays you like a business, right? So I give them this freedom tracker, and on the freedom tracker, they're able to track where their time is going and making sure that they are checking the box on the things that will actually move the needle in their business first. So it's like Brian Tracy's book, Eat That Frog, right? So it's like, these are the tests that move the needle in your business. These have to be done every single day or you did not work today.
Yeah.
That's the way I kind of approach it. But here's the thing. If I gave that away as a spreadsheet, as a checklist, as a freedom tracker, you know what I mean? Here's the problem. The person's going to get it and they may or may not use that tracker. But if you get a video of Misty saying, okay, let me explain how this tracker works. Let me explain the value of it. Let me explain what you shouldn't be doing with your time. See, what I can do is I can deliver the tracker first, and then my content upgrade is a video that says, let me coach you on how to use this to actually hit your goals this year. Now they get to see me being me, teaching them how to use the tool. Right. So there's all kinds of ways you can work it, but I'm still delivering the checklist first, right? Because in the past, we would deliver a spreadsheet like that and someone would get this and they'd kind of feel discouraged, because I know I've done it. I've gotten checklists and I'm like, I don't know what to do with this thing.
Yeah.
But you accompany with a video that you can send off to them and you're good. Maybe you even embed the video right on this tracker sheet and then you have some other content upgrade. I don't know. There's lots of ways to do this, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So that's deliver value first. I'm going deep on these.
Yeah, this is good. This is good.
Okay. Okay. So, and then make it easy for them to sign up. So we want to remove any unnecessary, steps in the process. So minimize the required fields, right? We've known that forever, but I just want to bring that up because for whatever reason, not all of us have gotten that still. We still want to put a big long forms in all that. Another thing I want to bring up though, because I think a lot of SaaS companies use this. And I just recently came to this revolution because I was doing my research and I'm like, how can we make this frictionless? How can we make this easier? How can we make it one click, right? Eliminate those barriers. One click signups.
Yeah.
Duh. I'm like, why have I not thought of this before? You see SaaS companies doing it all the time where they're like, do you want to sign up with your email or do you want to sign up with Facebook or with Google? And you just click and it just does it. Done. Deal. Right? Why aren't we using that as marketers?
Yeah. So, I don't know how many things that I've signed up for. It's like, I don't want to have to create another password and all that and keep on track of it. Sign me in with Google.
That's it.
Easy,
so those are plugins that we can use. Super simple to set up. And it makes it easy. Just one click. And like you said earlier, you get their best email.
Yeah.
Their best information. You're not getting fake stuff anymore.
Right.
That's another key. Huge. Okay. So that's part of the frictionless process. And then the last tip is this. So this is the third key change that we need to make. And I'm only bringing this up. It's not necessarily part of the frictionless process, but I still think it's important to bring up. And it's basically having a multi-channel list building approach. You and I talked about this on another podcast.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Because the fact of the matter is email service providers do not want us meaning businesses and marketers, they don't want us in the inbox.
Yeah.
And they're making changes actively to try to make it harder for us to do that.
Yep.
This year, 2024, at the beginning of the year, was a perfect testament to the things we had to put in place in order to try to still get into that inbox. You know that better than anyone else. So I'm preaching to the choir.
And it is ever changing. It's continuing to change.
Exactly. Now, again, for those people who are listening in, so she's saying email marketing doesn't work. No, that's not what I'm saying. It still remains one of the most profitable tools that we can use and leverage to get sales, to get those conversions in our business. But what I am saying is this, They don't want us there. Let's
Yeah.
take the hint.
Right.
Right? So, and I'm not going to lie, I don't want a lot of marketers there because they're not doing a very good job. But if we want to protect our business, and what I say is our number one asset, which is our lists, and I say that with S's multiple, because I think when people hear lists, they think email marketing, my email list. No, I'm talking about having multiple lists. So what I mean by that is we need to have, when we're using the frictionless system and we're meeting them where they're at and we're leveraging different tools and different ways to communicate with them. I'll go back to the social buzz bot for a second. I labeled it that just because basically if someone messages on a social post, a keyword, then the social or the chat bot, we use ManyChat as the tool to set this up. ManyChat's look into that social and says, oh, Scott dropped that keyword. I need to go in there and connect with him. So the chat bot is going to initiate the conversation and deliver the resource that you're requesting, right?
Yep.
But I want to point out that gives me another way to communicate with Scott now.
Yeah.
Now I'm in Scott's Instagram Messenger, or I'm in Facebook Messenger, whatever platform that he was on. So if we want to protect our business, we need to have more than one way to communicate. And that's just one other example. Another example, of course, is text messaging. But here's the thing, that's going to become harder because marketers are going to screw it up, because we always do.
It already is with the A2P authentication that now you have to jump through. And even once you've got that, like there's no guarantee that the carriers are going to deliver your messages. In my opinion, text message marketing is actually more difficult than email marketing.
I would say so too, for sure. And I think the penalties are going to be by far greater because it's more, well, it's kind of like the telephone, the spam, which we all know can, those laws are there, but they're not really enforced. Well, I think text messaging is more intrusive. I don't know if that's the right word, but it's more, I'm going to use intrusive.
I think intrusive is the right word because, almost everybody's got a cell phone and we always have it with us. And it's the closest thing that you can get to us without being in front of us in person. Right.
Yes.
And so it can be very intrusive. And if you're coming through on my phone and I don't want you there, I have a tendency to get pretty upset about that.
Yeah, if you're blowing me up, I'm going to get really upset. Right?
Yeah.
I get really upset if my kids blow me up. I'm like, couldn't you just call me? I mean, do we have to do 20 text messages simultaneously? So it's ding, 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 right?
Right.
But, so I know there's someone that hears that goes, oh, I would never blow up my prospects text, right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. It feels like being blown up at Christmas time when everybody's texting you.
Yeah.
Everybody, like we got all the retailers texting me, my kid, you know what I mean? My kids texting me.
Yeah.
And now you're just the text that broke that broke the camel's back, right? Because I'm just like, enough with this text messaging. So it is, I think intrusive is the right word. So that's also, it is a tool and we should be leveraging it, but we need to be careful because we also need to know we're not the only one leveraging it.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So and then, so another way to, as a multi-channel list building. So we talked about email, we talked about text messaging, we talked about, the messenger, the Facebook Messenger, Instagram Messenger, right? Obviously we old school, like let's go back old school, mailers. I know it's kind of hit and miss. And when we talk about that and how, but Gary Vee says it all the time. He says, go where other people aren't going.
Yeah.
He's I'd say, I don't say nobody. The small businesses I tend to work with, they're not in my inbox. Like the local spas, the local gyms, they're not in my inbox, but yet the true spammers are in your inbox.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or mailbox, I should
mailbox.
say, not inbox. Yeah. I have yeah. So, I think there's opportunity there for us as small businesses and marketers that we could leverage the mail.
Yep.
Push notifications is another thing, but that's another one of those things that you have to be careful of because it can be intrusive. And phone, like hardly anyone's using phone again, it seems
Yeah.
like. You know what I mean? So like those are just a few examples. And then the last one I'll give you is, when we run ads on Facebook, Google, and we're implementing the pixeling,
Mhm.
to that is another list
Yeah.
that you get to leverage and communicate. And I think I could go down a whole rabbit hole on how we leverage that one single tool. I
Mhm.
think we need to use it as a communication tool that also has advertising. And what I mean by that is that when we run the retargeting ads, retarget them saying, hey, remember you were on my website? Remember you said you'd like this? Remember you opted into this?
Yeah.
Remember you watched my video? Well, I'm just showing back up to keep the conversation going. So like, because I don't think a lot of people do that. Some do,
Mhm.
but a lot of them are just basically retargeting them with a different offer. But the conversation is as if I never heard of you before.
Yeah.
It needs to be an extension of the last conversation.
That's why it's called retargeting, right?
Right.
The
Yes.
first one is targeting, new people, and then this is retargeting. Hey, we've talked, we've seen each other before. Let's
Remember the crazy woman that yelled at you for 20 minutes in that video you watched? Yeah, that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we need to again a little bit of a different approach to that and how we're leveraging it. But those are examples of the multi-channel list building approach. And I'm just saying this, like we need to take the hint and no, they don't want us in the inbox. They don't really want us in the text messaging. So we need to diversify the way that we can communicate with our folks.
Well, as Dan Kennedy says, the worst number in any business is one. You can't
Yes.
have one key employee. You can't have one method of getting leads. You can't have one, when I had my IT business, a lot of, small businesses had one computer. Well, that
Yep.
computer is going to break down. And if all of your businesses run on that, you're going to be shut down for a while. So, that multi-channel method of list building is really important. Now, ultimately, you do want to get, like we all know, like Facebook and Instagram and all these platforms, you don't own anything on there. And so
Yep.
they can shut you down pretty quickly. So you do want to get their information so that you can put it into a list that you actually own,
Yep.
whether that's an email list or spreadsheet or whatever that it is. But that doesn't mean that that's the only way that you can communicate with them is by email using all of these different means, because some people, they would love to have, an ongoing conversation over Facebook Messenger. Other
Yes.
people, they love to have ongoing text message conversations. You're able to meet people where they want to have that conversation at. And that's what's
Absolutely.
so important. And I think that that's key, to being that frictionless lead generation piece, right?
Absolutely. And I know some people might be listening to this and thinking, well, I thought you said keep the form short. I did.
Yeah.
So you can start off by collecting the email. Or if you're using the one-click sign-on, you're collecting more data with that. If you're using the lead ad, you can collect name, email, phone number, it auto merges it right in, right? So
Mm-hmm.
there's ways that you can do it. But also think of your lead generation as a process. That's why I call this a frictionless process,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not just the initial opt-in, it's also, okay, I had you take my quiz. I gave you the results for free. You decided that you wanted to opt in for my videos. So then when you watch the video, like I captured the email, but then I also said, hey, on Wednesdays, I like sending out inspirational, quotes to my community. Would it be okay if I send them to you? And then
Mm-hmm.
capture their phone number. And
Yeah.
then say, hey, by the way, I don't know about you. I don't know about you, but I spend a lot of time on Instagram and Messenger. Would it be okay if I chat with you in there? And so you're just kind of leading them down a process that ends up growing lists. So now
Mm-hmm.
you have email, you have phone number, you have the messenger, you have all these different ways to communicate. So it's not just the one-time opt-in, make the form really long and get all the data at once.
Yeah.
Build the relationship and they will allow you into their world.
Absolutely. And that's
Yeah.
so important, because too many times in business, with really a lot of things that we do, we're just so focused on that end result that we want, but we forget that there's the process of actually getting there. And it's
Yep.
not just all at once do we get that end result. So
Exactly. And so I'm in the process right now of going back and revisiting all my offers and trying to incorporate those points and create that frictionless system. So that way it helps us with our conversions and opens those doors to us to show up in different areas of their life.
Yeah. Well, Misty, this has been like a treasure trove of information. So when you talk about delivering results in advance, giving that value, I don't know how anybody could walk away from today's episode and say, I learned absolutely nothing. There's nothing that I can take and put into my business. So, but I do know that you have a complimentary gift that you would like to offer any of our listeners. So I'll let you talk about that briefly.
I do. So, and I don't know how long I'm going to be offering this, truth be told, because this does require my one-on-one time, and I don't give that away too frequently. So if you go to the page and it's not there, that's because you were a little bit too late to the game. Okay. But I am offering right now a conversion optimization audit, which basically I'm going to go through and I'm going to thoroughly examine your entire lead generation system that you currently have, and then create a process. So you have systems right now, but we need to process. And so we're going to pinpoint those bottlenecks, those gaps, those friction points that are probably getting in the way, and those that are barriers for you to actually capture leads. So when you leave the call, you're going to have a clear action plan to optimize your strategy and start getting better conversions again.
Fantastic.
Make conversions great again.
Yeah, make conversions great again. And, you'll be able to figure out like, okay, I can build multiple lists, and how do I, what platforms do I need to be looking at? Like you said, mini chat, if you're going to do Facebook and Instagram conversations and things like that. So, well, Misty, I really appreciate your time here today. This has been very valuable. I really encourage you. There was so much here. You probably need to go back and listen to this again to pick up on all of the different fine points that she highlighted there. And then if you've got a process, a lead generation system that you have in place, but you're like, oh, it's outdated, or I'm doing things the old way. And you want to see, what's some fresh life that you can bring to that. I encourage you to request the conversion optimization audit. We'll put the link into the show notes. That way you don't have to try to write it down, while you're driving or walking or whatever, as you're listening to this. So, well, today, that is it for From the Trenches. I'm excited that we were able to share kind of some of these secrets on lead generation. It's important for us to constantly be evolving what we're doing in our business. And we touched upon a little bit about email marketing. So if you are looking to supercharge your email marketing, feel free to check out my book, Hit the Inbox, at hittheinboxbook.com. It's 76 pages packed with strategies to get your emails landing in the inbox and driving sales. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. If you found value in this episode, please subscribe, rate, and review the podcast on your favorite platform. Helps us reach more entrepreneurs with valuable information like this. And until next time, keep crushing it in the trenches.